The USA vs Egypt World Cup moment everyone's talking about isn't a miraculous save, a game-winning strike, or even a referee's controversial call, but a profound, almost spiritual silence that swept through the stadium just before kickoff, drawing an unexpected global focus on geopolitical tension right in the heart of the beautiful game. This wasn't just a quiet crowd, it was an active, collective hush that swallowed the pre-match fanfare, leaving millions across the globe wondering what in the world was happening in Boston. You see, the FIFA Fan Fest in Boston was buzzing, electric with anticipation for this particular match. America, suddenly finding itself as the main character on the global sports stage, was riding a wave of unprecedented enthusiasm for its national team. The buzz surrounding Tyler Adams, the undeniable leader of this energetic American squad, had everyone talking about their grit, their tactical discipline, and their relentless press. They were the darlings of the tournament, a team that refused to let their foot off the gas, embodying a new era of U.S. football. But as the teams lined up, something shifted. On the other side stood Egypt, a nation carrying the weight of 92 years of waiting for a significant World Cup win. The Pharaohs, a team steeped in history and pride, had brought with them not just their hopes for victory, but also the deep-seated narratives of a region fraught with complexities. Every single player felt the immense pressure of those generations who had yearned for this moment, for a chance to finally break the cycle of near misses and heartbreaking defeats on the biggest stage. Could this finally be their year? The expectation was a palpable entity in the stadium. Leading up to the game, the undercurrents of global politics had been subtly bubbling beneath the surface of the tournament. Social media was awash with discussions, not just about tactics and player matchups, but about something far removed from the pitch. Why was Israel, a non-participating nation, dominating so many conversations around the World Cup? It was a question that felt out of place, yet undeniably present, casting a long shadow over the pure sporting spectacle. The air was thick with unspoken anxieties, and everyone wondered if this tension would spill onto the field in some dramatic, overt way. As the two teams emerged from the tunnel, the crowd's roar was deafening, a tidal wave of sound ready to explode as the national anthems began. Flags waved, voices swelled, and the stadium lights danced to the beat of 1,000 drums. It was the quintessential World Cup atmosphere, a global carnival ready to ignite. But then, as the first notes of the U.S. national anthem were about to play, something incredibly strange happened. A ripple of confusion, a moment of hesitation, and then, a sudden, eerie calm. The expected music never truly took hold. Instead, a handful of fans in one section began to lower their flags, a subtle, almost imperceptible gesture at first. Then, others followed. A whisper spread through the stands, growing louder than any shout. The roar died down, not into a murmur, but into a profound, almost sacred quiet. It wasn't an organized protest that anyone could identify. There were no banners unfurled, no chance of dissent. Just an immense, collective holding of breath, a silence so heavy it felt like it had its own gravitational pull. Imagine Tyler Adams standing there, eyes fixed on the flag, preparing for the ritual, and then feeling the energy drain from the stadium, replaced by this unsettling void. What goes through a captain's mind when the world pauses like that? Is it confusion, concern, or a sudden, stark realization that something much bigger than the game was unfolding around them? The players, poised for battle, were caught in this strange, unscheduled intermission, their focus momentarily shattered by the weight of the crowd's unarticulated message. The "not why you think" part of this moment was precisely that it wasn't a planned demonstration by any single group or agenda. It wasn't orchestrated by activists or politicians. Instead, it was an organic, spontaneous eruption of shared human consciousness, a silent acknowledgement of the world's suffering that momentarily transcended the fervent nationalism of a sporting event. It was as if the collective subconscious of the global audience, weary of division, found a way to express itself without a single word, using the universal language of silence to connect with something deeper. The television commentators, caught entirely off guard, fumbled for explanations. Was it a technical glitch with the sound system? A silent protest by a rogue group? Their confusion was evident, their carefully prepared narratives of national pride and sporting prowess suddenly rendered obsolete. Social media, however, caught fire instantly. Speculation ran wild, theories proliferated, but one thing was clear. This unplanned silence had become the defining image of the tournament, dominating feeds more than any highlight reel could. It was a digital wildfire of shared bewilderment and profound introspection. This bizarre, almost surreal moment lingered over the entire match. The game itself, a hard-fought encounter, felt different, imbued with a strange, almost melancholic intensity. Every tackle, every pass, every shot seemed to carry an added weight, as if the players themselves were processing the profound statement that had been made without a single spoken word. The usual fierce rivalry was still there, but beneath it, an undeniable current of shared humanity, a recognition that the world outside the stadium walls was far more complicated than any scoreline could ever convey. How does a moment of collective quiet echo through a tournament designed for noise and spectacle? It forces a reflection, doesn't it? It strips away the superficiality, reminding us that even the most celebrated events are not immune to the raw, unfiltered realities of our global existence. It asks us, collectively, what truly matters when the cheers die down and the flags are folded. Is it just the score, or is it the unspoken narratives that bind us, even in silence? This USA vs Egypt moment wasn't about who won or lost on the pitch. It became a powerful, albeit unsettling, reminder of the world's interconnectedness, and how easily the unspoken burdens of humanity can pierce through even the most carefully constructed bubble of celebration. It left an indelible mark, not just on the memory of those who witnessed it, but on the very fabric of this World Cup, proving that sometimes the loudest statements are made when everyone agrees to simply be still.